I kind of want to say this too, and I mean, I'm gonna say this in a way where I'm gonna try to not be disrespectful, but I want to be realistic, because I've seen this for a while, and it's just kind of problematic. Like, we live in if you're watching this video, you're probably a part of the civilized world wherever you are. I know there's a lot of you guys from Brazil, some from Europe who are here, so welcome. If you're from India, this probably doesn't apply to you, and if you're from Mexico, this doesn't apply to you either. But if you're in America, if you're in somewhere in the UK and Europe, it does. Now, everyone, those places, I feel like America's just down bad. And also Africa is a place that is very, very, very male dominated in unhealthy ways. So it's male dominated, meaning like women don't really have like a say. They don't have an opinion. They don't have full autonomy. Yes, there are women who go to college. Yes, there are women who like have jobs. Some have cars and things, but like at the end of the day, they're like wives and they're mothers, and that's really it. In America and in Europe, there is a real ability for a woman to start and build her life just for her. And that means that we are seeing, and we have seen, kind of like a whole new kind of like breed of like woman, basically, who like just is not how can you say, it's just not based on a dude. And that's just the first here. It just is. Okay. And how can I say this? I saw this image of Ashlee Simpson and Evan Ross, who is like Diana Ross's son. So he married Jessica Simpson. She seems like, not Jessica Simpson, Ashlee Simpson. She seems like a perfectly nice girl. Like, nothing really that special about her. Like, she's no Rihanna, not even like a Cassie, not a Sierra, nothing. Like, not very talented, not even like very pretty, but she's just like a girl, like a regular average girl who's like Jessica Simpson's sister, right? So now she seems perfectly normal, perfectly average. And like somebody wrote an article that was like basically highlighting her and her very long relationship. I am not going to cover this in a light where I want to share the article with you. Now, for me, it would have been very easy to follow people, right, who were very similar to her. The reason that I did not do this, and instead I followed people like Meg Thee Stallion or Carisha, Mona Leo, I think that those stories are much more important to tell, especially for Black women, because there is no infrastructure around Black womanness. What I mean is that there are a lot of Black women who are growing up without trust funds, without money set aside for college. They're not inheriting any property. All of those things are things that most white women have. So like when white women are getting into relationships with anyone, the whole point is for like that person to better their lives economically. That's the whole point of the relationship. That really isn't the case for a lot of Black women. Really, it's not the case for barely any Black women. The only Black women really that we've seen who have that are entertainers, and they're not that rich, so most of them don't hand down much because they're not like fiscally responsible. And that's a problem, because like that is what the middle class is. The middle class is having a home to hand down to your children, not just having children. But the weird part about this is so many Black women have been modeling counterculture from Africa, right? Where like, be serious, like what are poor kids in Africa who live on the street aren't inheriting anything from their families? Like, also, like, a lot of people don't own the land that they live on anymore. It's owned by like white people in Africa. So it's like they're not inheriting anything. At least a lot of Black Americans, they have like one home for the family. But there's just a very large group of like very, very low income Black American females who aren't inheriting anything. Like, their families live in public housing, so they don't. And there's this idea propagated through society that every single Black girl grew up on like welfare and public resources, and we all didn't, but there are a lot of Black women who did, especially a lot of immigrant women, right? Like, if you're first generation Somali, like you probably grew up on welfare because you wouldn't have another choice. Like, your family didn't have any resources, and your parents couldn't even work. It wasn't like you can't work at all. Like, there's no job, there's no education, nothing, because like you're not allowed to work in the country. Now, I'm not trying to be funny, that's just the way the laws work. And it's a very different when you're growing up on public resources than if your family is buying you things as a young person. It's just a different experience. So the point that I'm trying to make, though, is that, like, when you really think about it, like, maybe there was something very special about, like, Evan Ross and Ashlee Simpson and their relationship, but I would guess not. I would guess that she's just, like, a pretty regular girl, which I want to be clear here, like, in most of society, they're just, like, regular girls. Like, most girls are just, like, regular-ish girls who just, like, go to school, they go to a college maybe, they grow up, they get some sort of job, they have, like, a boyfriend, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, like, some really out there experience, okay? It's just a pretty normal experience of, like, living in the world, living in society, and, like, growing up. Like, that's just what happens. You don't have to be, like, extra special for that to happen. And then, you get in a relationship with a man, a guy. And this is usually, like, that's the thing that I think is so strange. Like, all around me, there are, like, people, like 19-year-old girls who've moved away from their families, are living, like, at their boyfriend's family's house. Like, that is, like, the normal thing. Now, the weird part about this is I keep hearing from Black guys, like, oh, no, we can't do that. Like, there's all this, like, purity culture things, or, like, Black girls aren't even allowed to, like, have any boyfriend. Like, you have to go right into marriage, and just all of these things is, like, very strange. It's like, and, like, I don't even know any Black girl who has just, like, a normal boyfriend experience. Maybe that girl Jordan, who's been dating that one basketball player, her. I feel like she's usually, like, going out with her boyfriend. She, like, you see video content of them doing things. They have a pretty regular relationship. But, like, I think that one thing that's strange is for people to behave and act like that is, like, so phenomenal. That not, like, every single girl in the middle class is doing that. Like, what she's doing, they try to do these things where they make it seem like Black women are out here living under a rock or something. Like, we don't go out and just have dinner. Not with Black guys, you probably won't, because, like I said, I made the other Tyrone's video and I was pretty serious about that. But if you just date other people, you'll have regular experiences. Like, I see it every single day. People, they just go out, they have dinner. Okay, there are men taking women out on dinner dates. I've got to say, there's a lot of different types of women. I've seen all the women. I've seen Black women are out on dates, white women are out on dates, Indian women are out on dates, Asian women are out on dates, Latina women are out on dates. Everybody is out on dates. Now, who eat a lot, most of it is interracial dating. A lot of it, I see a lot of, like, white on white dating. Like, a lot of white men typically date, like, white women. But when I see girls of other races out, I usually do not see them with their own race. So maybe that's something, but all day long, people are out in pairs. They are out, they are dating, they are in relationships. Like, all the girls, all the white girls that I work with, they all have boyfriends. They've all been in relationships for a while. There's nothing, like, special about them. These aren't, like, even the Paris Hilton pretty girls. They're just, like, really basic, average girls, just basic, regular girls. So